Okay, this is part two. I guess I'm a little calmer now. Every time I think about the other part of, I guess because I went through so much. Got some new pieces coming out, hopefully for my birthday. So I'm sharing some keys in this particular one on cultivating community interest. Okay, so in this part, I want to say it's very important that we make a first impression. I'm not all sure yet how I'm going to be presenting my new pieces for community interest, but I hope that something that I share here with you will help you. I keep forgetting to set this timer. No, I got to be a certain length of time on here. Okay, and so this community interest is very important. So we can first look at the variety of reasons of why you're doing what you're doing, the who, what, when, why, and all that I told you is very important. But because companies and different people like that who are prestigious or people who have money, they don't even have to be a public figure, but even if they have money, they look at the perception of first who you are. They perceive who you are. They perceive, your lifestyle. Where are you lined up? Do you even fit what you call yourself trying to get them to give you money about, or have you even made any impact at all? So those things they take in consideration. That's your hard work, the things that you have put out there, the impact you've made, like I said, the time, the things that you've done to maintain. And so it took me maybe like about 2 or 3 years before I really got the name out there. And as much as I tried to get the nonprofit name out there, it didn't work. You know why? Because people were looking at the lifestyle of Sandy Murphy. And so pretty much that's all people really know. They don't even know my nonprofit name, and it's called Fair Care Center. They don't even know that. The majority of them that's ever given don't even pay that much attention other than just to get the nonprofit write-off. But they thinking Sandy Murphy. I believe in what this woman is doing. Now, how about you? Are you making an impact to the point that your first impression, what are you saying as far as your human voice? What is your spiritual charisma doing? Don't never underestimate that people are not watching or paying attention to what you are saying or what you're doing. So the lack of this personal touch, this unfriendly environment that you may have around you, or not trying to friend people, is going to hold you up. You got to take time to get to know people, to get out there and get to introducing yourself to people. I'm kind of a reserved person, so I've always put people in that position to really get it started, and then I take it from there, meaning they plant the seed and get me in the door, and I take it from there, okay, because I know how to be able to get them to understand where I'm coming from. Once you open the door, Daddy God comes in, and he will flow through you. So you want to make sure that people are paying attention to what you're doing, so you want to start out by spelling it out. Spelling it out. And you can only spell that out first by writing it out, okay? Writing out what it is that you want people to know about you, how to get them to connect with you. Now, one of the things that I did in the very beginning for those that are just getting started, you got to get someone to help you design a logo based on what your message is saying. Now, my logo has changed many times before I got to these last ones in these last years of my ministry over the 40-plus years. I think it might have changed about 4 or 5 times. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you stay in the realm where that is calling you. Now, sometimes it may shift depending on what the event that you may be doing. So you might find something creative to put there for the logo. But you want to make sure, for example, you got something that says love and hearts and hands. So you want to find something that's, showing something with a heart and hands and maybe combined together. But you want to make sure that it's making that impact. And so any creative things that your chairperson or your person who is part of that group that's going to be making the, memory tools for the event or invitations, you want to have them to create a save the date card. That's very important. That save the date card is really popular now, where you can go online and get a whole bunch of these made real cheap. I can't even think of the name of the place right now where they do them at, but you can just Google and find where you can get postcards made really cheap online and get you hundreds of those and lay them around. I mean, lay them in the post office, lay them everywhere, because I did all of that. I laid them in cleaners. And you'll be surprised. Some of the cleaners even pasted my stuff on their door, the glass doors, when people walk up, they stop and read it. It really impressed me. I didn't think they were going to do it, but they did. So because they knew I spent a lot of money at these cleaners. So you want to make sure you also use newsletters. This is important. So get a group, put a list down of people that you can send a newsletter about what you're fitting to do, okay? And that letter, got to be one page. Let's try to do one-pagers, so the people can want to read it. Make it a one-pager where they can talk about what you're getting ready to do. Just say, I have a dream. I'm fixing to do this and that. And so, something similar to what I do with my monthly mental health chronicles. Do something that they can see, oh, whoa, what you got going on now? And, if you don't have a website, you need to develop one, because sometimes you can get people to give to you on the website, and they don't even want to communicate. They might just see it and get other people to click on your site, just to see what you're doing, and make it very important. And sometimes you can get people to RSVP to events on your site. But as far as RSVPing is going, I think it's very important that you make a list in that committee that's going to be working with reservations, stuff like that, that you be sure and have a place where people can do both. They can RSVP and they can donate, okay? And if they can't meet a certain amount of money for an event, I think you should have a table primarily. You should always, and I thank God he gave me that revelation whenever I was doing community outreach events, I always had a place just for teens and youth, so they can make sure that they were involved and they had their own tables, so they can connect with other teams and things like that. And I had maybe one leader that was close by who was in charge of that table to make sure they didn't get rowdy when the event started. But you need to always include parents and elderly, and stuff like that. But getting that campaign rolling is very important. So in order to do that, you need to develop a media plan. Oh, Lord, that was the hardest thing for me, developing my media plan. So that means you need to get a list of all the TV stations and radio stations that are local first, because you're trying to make the impact in the city. So get those people, who are willing to make these types of contacts, whether it's TV or radio. I remember when I did a press release, and I sent a lot of different press releases out about an event that I was getting ready to do, and it was on domestic violence. And so these issues of violence, these issues of incest and child abuse, and issues of anything dealing with children today, and anything dealing with suicide, and and drugs and alcohol, and PTSD, all these things. People need help in these social ills and these mental health problems. So your press release is very important that you keep up with the things that are going on today in this last day ills that we have. You describe the reason for this special event, and about the organization, and even mention any sponsors that you got supporting you already. Because when you do that, it makes an impact. It says, Building Better Families is helping. Oh, wow. Oh, Child 13. Oh, man. Oh, with all them on Walmart, let me see what I can do. And anything helps. And so your immediate press release is very important. You got to find who is the media contact. I hope you're writing this stuff down, because I ain't got long to be on here. The media contact, the date, the time you contacted them. Be sure and get their title, what they hold, and get their phone number and fax number and email address, okay? Now, on this immediate release, you want to make sure that you're addressing it with that information I just gave you to them, all right? And then you want to make sure you say what it is, where it's going to be hosted, and these things have to be very, very specific in this press release. But you don't want it to be long. You want to make sure that you send it to television, radio, and all those, like I said. But I remember Deborah Duncan got my press release, and she called me, because I've been on a lot of different television things here, and I was thinking back on that. Lord, I can't remember half of them. But I do remember being interviewed by her. It's just different ones, Channel 13 and 26 and all them different ones that interviewed me on different occasions for stuff, just anything they would call me on, advice. You need to think on what can you say, what is important, thinking about your timeline, thinking about the quality of what you're going to say. You know, how is it going to pique their interest? You know, what is very pleasant about this that you're doing that's making them feel good, you know? So you make your checklist of all these different target television and radio stations and newspapers and magazines. It's important, too, because I did all of that. You know, and all the little community newspapers, I put articles in there, and they want to charge me. I said, could you please donate this because we don't have a fund for that? You know, where is it in that newspaper that you can get free, you know, support to nonprofits? You know, and do a follow-up thank you for these people who support your efforts. It's very important that you let them know you appreciate them. I tell you, I mean, the Lord has really blessed me to be able to go a lot of places and do a lot of things. But first of all, you want to stay focused on the cause, okay? Stay focused. Make sure that you are getting into rams and connecting with people who you know are going to respond. If they don't respond, at least keep contacting them to see where are they. I remember one time they got that free network on KSBJ, not KSBJ, K something. I can't think of it anyway. They give free advertisement, and I kept. It'll come back to me. I hope. And I kept saying, why they not running my ad or something? It's supposed to be free. And I sent it in way in time. Well, I called and they went, oh, we don't know how that slipped. Well, this is what the enemy will do. So you got to stay focused on your cause. You got to make sure that the mission and all those things that you're trying to build education and awareness about, that people, and not just people that you are associated with, what about where you went to college, where you going to college now? What about people who you know that really care about your vision? I mean, you need to make a list of everybody, your pastor, your friends, everybody, and let them know I need you. Send them that newsletter and tell them, please respond. Get back to me. And then those that don't respond, make sure you make a list of them. I don't want to preach. Well, I know I did. I made a list of all those who did not respond. And Daddy God told me just to pray for them that they realize what they have done, especially if you are serving and participating and partnering and serving them. You know, so you need to encourage those people, encourage those public relations people that are part of your team. And so I want to give you these nuggets really quick before I get off here, because I don't want to get into too much that I don't get to share this part. It's very important that you take this down. Now, your fact sheet. It's very important that you develop a fact sheet. That fact sheet is what you're going to be able to fax, F-A-X, this FACT sheet out when you're doing big events, okay, that you're trying to raise funds with. Now, this fact sheet, what it's going to do is going to help you to define what. It's going to help you define why. It's going to help you define who. It's going to help you define when, where, and any underwriting levels, you know, what tables is going to sponsor, who's sponsoring what, you know, any other information they need to contact you. All that need to be on your fact sheet. I hope you got this down. Rewind it, but I want to make sure I don't lose my time with you, because I told you I have to be short on here because of the organization. Forget it, whatever. I got to be fast. Anyway, the goals. Okay, now, here we go, the fact sheet. Now, on the fact sheet, what I thought was very interesting when I learned this from a class I took, this fact sheet, that who is going to be talking about who is being honored, okay? Who's a legacy, who's important there, what, you know, who's supporting it, and what type of, you know, things are going to be, you know, when I say what, I'm talking about the format of the event. You know, it's going to be black tie, say all of that, okay? Is there going to be a chair that you got that's really governing for you? You need to make sure you mention to highlight the chair. Even show a photo of the chair, okay? And then why? The purpose, you know, to extend out to the different people, the benefits of them participating, you know, and how it's going to broaden the community out, you know, and how it's going to help people. And then the who will be attending, you know, group, cultural, different type of people, benefactors, all type of corporations. You list those people who say they're going to be there. You know, if you want to just give a little snip of that, you can't list everybody, but just somebody they know that they will pay attention to. Because I remember, you know, I put on one of my benefactor meetings, I put down that it was going to be channel, I think, what channel was it? I think it was channel 13 and channel 26 that came. I had added them to my benefactors group, and I didn't think they were going to come, but they did come, and they did support me. So, you want to make sure that you let them know that you recognize them as your benefactor and that you want them to come, and you want to recognize them that they're going to be there and that they are your benefactor. You've given them publicity. And then when, the day, the evening, whatever you're going to do, I had a special reception that I invited them to. It was beautiful. God really anointed it because I didn't really know what I was doing, but they was very impressed by it. They had their little packets of everything that was going down. The underwriting levels that I shared that they could support the ministry with was all in there and everything. Now, the goals, okay, the why and all that, I said that on the stack sheet. But the goals of your fundraising letter is very important. So the goals you want to make sure that you do, you want to write all these down, okay? And the first one, you want to have a goal to motivate, okay? This includes making sure you give them incentives and facts and stuff about what you're doing, and you're trying to inspire them, okay, about the cause. And then the next nugget you want to do in that letter is you want to make sure you give them an opportunity to congregate with you, the people that are part of your team, anybody that's going to network with you, any high-profile people, any politicians, any sports figures even, anybody that's dealing with social ills in the community. You want to bring those people apart to congregate with you. Okay, these are going to be your goals now, working toward this fundraising, working toward developing this board of people that's helping you to get this, this thing committed, this commitment done. It may not be the way you want it. Dad is going to appoint those people if you just take some wisdom from somebody trying to tell you something. Because at first I was like, that ain't necessary. You said, oh, no, I don't want that. And my board used to say, we're going to do that. We don't need it. And I had elders on my board trying to teach me something. But I felt I'm just so zoned. I'm going to do it the way Daddy told me to do. Now, I had a whole lot of energy spent that I could have avoided. That's why I'm trying to give you this. So the next word is to salivate, okay? So to salivate something, that means these people that you're going to inspire and you're going to mention them, those people that you're going to tell about what they can get out of this event. That means you're going to bring these high-profile people there. You're going to make sure that these steering committee people, these music-giving people, these people that's going to be giving you different favors and things, you want to salivate them, okay? And then stimulate. This is the hardest part to stimulate because a lot of people are just so tired of hearing fundraising. But you might want to stimulate them by making a little small video, talking about, the things that's going to happen with your excitement about it. And, and if you got any videos from where you were even, adding any events that you hosted already, do some little shots of that, or get somebody to share, the cause and, the heartbeat that they're following you, get your pastor and other people that you feel that are, community figures or people that the people respect, to stimulate that video, to show everything that you're about to do, some unusual things you're going to do in the event that people may not even think that anyone would think of. That's a stimulation in that video that you're going to send out. Maybe you send the video out one time, then send the newsletter out one time. And then you want to congratulate, okay? Listen, I want to make sure y'all at least let me know if this helped y'all by even giving me a thumbs up on the YouTube or something, because I'm obeying God. I was like, man, okay, Daddy. And then congratulate. Okay, you want to make sure you congratulate all the people who supported you. Give it some type of certificate, some type of award. People know that about me. I believe in giving appreciation for people that have served me. If I couldn't afford to give them an actual physical, award, trophy, I gave them some type of an award with whatever God would show me for their outstanding service or their good deeds. And those who were really winning volunteers, I really believe in really, really honoring my volunteers, making sure that those people realize that they weren't looking for anything, but I want to make sure that they realize that God saw it and I really appreciated it. So you want to get some outstanding awards and presentations, so you congratulate. And then you want to initiate. That means you want to recognize these positive role models, these corporations, these people who really, really stood up for you, and they didn't really know that much about you, but they believed in the cause. So you want to initiate the recognition on the positive role models that, have been in your life. And then you want to illuminate. That means you want to highlight different categories, and these can be in your souvenir booklet as well. You want to highlight these different categories of people and categories of things that, that you were doing for this outreach, the overall theme. You want to illuminate that. You want to create these imaginative names and categories and, these giving, these reasonable perks that people can get even. We illuminate what you can get. If you bring 5 people or if you buy a table, then we're going to honor this for every person that gave 5 people or buy 5 tickets. You want to illuminate it that way to make sure that somebody is expecting something back. Sometimes people that give large sum, they don't even want their names mentioned. But you want to illuminate them in some way in a private setting maybe so that they can know that you appreciate them. You ain't got to tell everybody what they did, but you want to illuminate them, all right? Then you want to agitate. Sound like an ugly word, don't it? But agitate means you want to get the energy going. You want to get the adrenaline going. You want to make sure you keep the people that's on the team, the volunteers, and everybody, keep their adrenaline going about what you're doing. Don't let them be so beat down from trying to get it to be done that they have no refreshing, okay? And then you want to activate. Very important. Activate. That means you want to make the reservations. Those people that are sponsoring you, you want to make sure those tickets, I've already talked about that briefly, and those tables and everything are going to be encouraging. They're going to be encouraging not just the people who you really are highlighting, but it's going to be encouraging for those people that has come. I know I've been to a lot of events, and I saw how those tables was really recognizing those contributors and sponsors and people like that, and those some women got together and created their own tables. That's another thought you can do, that people will get together and design their own tables, that they support the effort, whatever it is. I know in domestic violence I had different people from different organizations, other cities, would come and bring women to tables and say, we came here to support this effort. And even organizations of domestic violence that I don't even know, those that are international organizations that are out there making a great impact. I let them create their tables and bring people and their themes and talk about what they got going on in their organizations, and have resource tables where people can get this information. Well, the time is up, y'all. I got to go. I pray that this blessed you. I pray that the Holy Spirit will use some strategic planning for you in your goal letter writing. I pray that you will make sure that fundraising letter include these things I just gave you, starting with Motivate. I think it's important that you get your fact sheet together. That fact sheet is very, very important because you can send that fact sheet out to the newspaper and everywhere. And the newspaper has spots in there that can give you space for events. Just stacks that out to that particular department for lifestyles and community and stuff like that in the Chronicle and events. And then, and just send it out everywhere. I tell you, over the years, the Lord has truly blessed me to make sure that I made my personal contact. I make sure that I even got my confirmations, and sometimes I had to I had to send an invoice for those who committed. Some committed and didn't even do what they committed to. But maybe you need to send an invoice for those who decide to say they're going to do so many tables or they're going to pay for the room or whatever. Then you send an invoice and give them a timeline when you need it, and then follow up on it. Make sure those committees are following up on these things, because it's important that we make sure that when opportunity knocks, we're there to open the door. You hear me? We got to open the door and walk in and say, here I am. Well, that's all I got. I got to get off here. I pray God bless you with this. I speak blessings over your event. I thank God that I obeyed him today, because if something's going to happen for me, I guess because I obeyed him. When I got out of that bed and I felt my feet hit the floor, and I heard him say, you need to teach on fundraising strategies. I'm like, what? Oh, Daddy. I just obey, Daddy. I pray this has blessed you. I pray that whatever you're preparing to do, whatever God is showing you to do, that you obey him and don't listen to the devil, but make sure your eyes and your ears are being enlightened to hear and to know who to connect with, where to go, and when to do it. All those who, what, when, why, and all that is very important in your fact sheet and in your heart when you're preparing. God bless you so much. I pray this help you. Please let me know by making sure you give me some type of commentary there on the link here in the YouTube. Love you so much. I'm praying with you on this side.